Okay, you guys, I'm early. I'm early. And now I just gotta give people a little bit of time to jump in the room. Meanwhile, we'll just listen to some hip hop because I'm really chilling right now. Is my window down? So, this is not my normal time to do a scope. Is my location on, you guys? Let's see if I have any viewers. I'm not going to share this content unless I got some valuable folks to share this content with. Or if I didn't put my location on, which I think I did. So I should have someone to listen to the content. So anyway, I'm going to get into... Oh, there we go. Hi. Drive hard. How are you? I was just waiting on some folks to hop in before I got started. So I'll give people a second to jump in. And I'll turn the music down. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's going pretty good. So I was out grocery shopping and looking kind of bummy. So just ignore me. Hey from Russia. Looking kind of bummy, and my friend sent me a really good question about mortgages, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do a scope because I've been wanting to do this scope for a minute, especially because I had a really good training today. Hey, So Rich Creative. I had a really good finance training today, and I had to leave early. I was so mad I had to leave early. A lot of the information I already knew, but there was still some tricks that he talked about that were really, really good to hear. Okay. So these are the friends that had the particular question. So I'm going to give her a second to get in. Meanwhile, I'm just going to introduce myself. You guys tell me if the music is too loud. I'm Rashida Clark, and I'm a realtor on the peninsula, the Virginia Peninsula. So Hampton, Newport News, York County, Williamsburg, but I also work on the South Side, just not as much. Norfolk, Virginia Beach, that area, if anybody is familiar. So you guys can tell me where you're from. Love to hear that. I know we always have a lot of people from Russia. I say we, but I always have a lot of people from Russia. So hi guys. Had somebody from Finland earlier. Talking about mortgages today, which is a scary topic for whatever reason. Probably because most people don't really know how to get a mortgage, or they think it's just not obtainable. So what I'm going to do is ask that everybody please share the scope before I go into the content really quick. Okay, cool. You can share it by, there should be a little man down here. You can share it like that on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, and then double tapping the screen gives hearts to show me that you understand what I'm talking about or it makes sense. So hi Dana. Is it Dana? I have to get really close to the screen to see your names. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to get, how do I pronounce that? You see me getting like real close. Sorry, you guys. Forehead shot. Danica. Okay. Oh, like the race car driver. Okay. Just want to make sure. I don't want to mispronounce names. All right. So I'm not going to be able to probably get to all of it in the scope, but I did want to say this. So number one, I'm going to start out with the fact that all lenders are not the same. And I cannot say that enough. I can't. Even with like my buyers here, it's still like pulling teeth to get my buyers to go to the lender that's going to work for them. Every lender is not going to approve you. That's just what it is. Every lender has different they have different ways of approving and qualifying you. So every lender's not going to approve you. I mean, I have a buyer on Friday. I got him pre-approved. Okay. I'm just looking to see who's pulling up beside me. I got him pre-approved. Okay. I've had him on my buyer's list for a year. I recommended him to 2 banks because I like to give people options. I recommended him to Wells Fargo, which was not my first choice. It's never my first choice, even though Wells Fargo does the majority of loans in our country. And I refer him to Atlantic Bay, which is where I really wanted him to go. When I interview my buyers, I try to get information from them to find out how to best recommend them. People feel like I'm prying, and you probably feel like that with your agent, but the reason I'm asking is because I need to know how to best help you. Because, like I said, I need to fit you to a lender. So he wanted to go with Wells Fargo. He walked into a random bank, which is the worst thing you could do, and he just went to the first lender that walked up to him and tried to get pre-approved. He couldn't. This was a year ago. So he tried again twice. Still couldn't get pre-approved with Wells Fargo. He went to Atlantic Bay. He got pre-approved on Friday. And people are like, why? They must be doing something weird. They must be like predatory lending and blah, 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 blah. So some banks are considered conservative lenders. So if you don't have a fairly clean, easy credit profile, or credit file, they're not going to approve you. And for example, he had a few small collections. Wells Fargo would not approve him with those small collections unless they were paid off. Atlantic Bay, according to their underwriter on the team that my lender uses, you only need, if you have less than $2,000 in collections, the underwriter doesn't even care about it. So they'll still approve you with that. So you see what I'm saying, how they're different. So Wells Fargo wouldn't approve him with the collections. Atlantic Bay would. You also can have differences in how much they will approve you for, because they'll be more more forgiving about different things, different debts. All that kind of stuff makes a huge difference. So if you've got a good agent and they're asking questions, they're trying to fit you to the right lender. That's number one. So you have no chance of getting pre-approved if you're with the wrong lender to begin with. That's the first thing. I refer to Atlantic Bay all the time just because Atlantic Bay just is so good to me and good to my buyers. I refer to them all the time, but there are a few other ones out there that are good too. So number one, you need to be with the right lender. Number two, if you do have, actually, let me ask if I have anybody on that can even comment, what's the minimum credit score that you need to get a mortgage? We'll just keep it simple and say a mortgage. Do I have anybody on that can actually comment? Yeah, I got a couple people. Okay, wait. I had to like flip back and forth. Anybody know? A 620. Yes. A 620. You only need a 620 to qualify. And actually, FHA, the federal loan guidelines, only require you to have a 580. But every bank has different, what we call overlays. So every bank will require different things, but you only really need a 580. That's it. Now, if you got a 580, you're going to have compensating factors. But let me stay with the credit score really quick. If you have a credit score that you think is kind of borderline, and because you're checking it yourself, I would encourage you to go ahead and talk to a lender and have them check it, because the score that they check is always going to be different than the score you're checking. It's always, like, I don't know why exactly, but it's always different. And so I've had a lot of people think that they're 5 points away, 10 points away, whatever, and the lender checks it and they're fine. So definitely go ahead and have a lender check it. But if you're around the 580 point, but you have what we call compensating factors, and you're working with a lender that knows what they're doing, you can still get approved. Compensating factors would be, you have a large down payment that you can put down. You have a large amount in investments or different things that you could potentially tap if you really needed to. You have a parent or a family member that's willing to give you a gift, which is definitely possible. Parents, family members, even a spouse can gift you money to get qualified to put money down on a home. They can gift you money to pay your debts off if you need to. Having a spouse or some other person in the household that has regular income is a compensating factor. So if you have different like things like that that's going on and your credit is under the 620 mark, you can still get qualified for a loan. Just know that, I mean, if your credit score is lower, you need to have some of that stuff to help you, but it's still possible. I mean, people get 580. I mean, they have 580 and they get loans all the time. You just need some money, but don't think you're going to get a house with a 580 credit score, no money down, no nothing out of pocket, and just walk into a house. Like, that's not what I'm saying. You can get a loan with a 580 credit score, but you need to have some compensating factors. Okay, guys? And if you have a large down payment, you have a lot of flexibility. The other thing I would suggest is when you talk with your lender, talk with them about the payment that you can afford versus the amount of the actual loan, because when we're doing loans, we're talking about principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So they're going to estimate all of that and come up with a payment. So tell them I can afford $1,000 or whatever. A large down payment nowadays, a large down payment is like 10%, 20% of the loan amount. Because honestly, I mean, people now don't save like they used to back in the day, like when our parents and our parents were buying. So a lot of people don't really have a large savings account, especially depending on their age. So I would say 10%, that's a good amount of money. 10%, 15%, 20%. You can put how much ever you want. I mean, if you want to put down 50%, you can do that. You can do that. But it's definitely, the more you can put down, Highland, the more you can put down, the better. Because when an underwriter looks at your credit profile, they just have to, thank you for inviting your followers, Sabrina, or Brina 6278. When they're looking at your credit profile, they just have to justify their reasoning for approving your loan. So if they can say, okay, well, this person only has a 580, but she's putting down $30,000 and she has, additional income of $1,000 a month from here, all that kind of stuff, all of that stuff, those are compensating factors. So they're going to approve you. They're going to approve you. Thanks for the hearts, guys. I mean, I hope that kind of makes sense. I know I'm kind of talking like all over the place. It's a plus for sellers too. Absolutely. I mean, larger down payment is never going to be a bad thing. And I even tell people, a lot of times people will say, oh, don't suggest this. I tell people all the time, if you have a retirement account and you can borrow from your retirement account and you really want to buy, do it. Do it. I mean, I'm not saying that, you should just tap into your retirement account whenever, but real estate is an asset in itself. And if you're borrowing the money from yourself and you're paying it back to yourself, I mean, come on. I mean, that's not a bad investment. This is an investment where if you keep it for years, it's still going to pay off and it's going to be more stable. Yes. I am a realtor. Hi, is it Country 757? Hi, Country 757. Flag that recent transaction from your 401k. Is that the question? Typically, they will not, if it's a 401k or the IRA that I'm discussing, they're not going to flag that because you're borrowing from yourself. You're not borrowing from a bank. You're borrowing it from yourself. And you're paying yourself back. So they're not going to flag that as something. They're not even going to count that payment. At least that's the guidelines from the bank that I typically work for. So when you guys go and you talking to your lenders, you need to ask those specific types of questions. So if I borrow from my 401k, as income, I'm pretty sure, because if that were the case, then that would bring the gift into question too. You know what I'm saying? There are certain loopholes and different things that can be done when you're doing specific things like getting money for a down payment. I mean, that money, especially if you use it from a retirement account, it's already yours. So technically it's already on the books somewhere that you received it. Right. I mean, it's already on a pay stub. So it's not as if you're getting it from some magical place where that it's never been counted anywhere ever. Does that make sense? Country 757. And I had a couple people that jumped in, and I just want to reintroduce myself. I'm Rashida Clark. I'm a realtor. I'm looking kind of bummed right now because I ran out to the grocery store, and then I got a really good question from a friend who I think is still on. And I was like, you know what? I just need to do a scope because I've been wanting to do a scope about this, but I just haven't had the time. So I'm literally sitting in the car in the parking lot. Because I was like, no, I got to do a scope. Oh, okay. Just making sure. So yeah, that money's already yours. So they're not going to count that as income. And then gift money, it has a whole nother set of guidelines. They're not going to count that. I mean, you can receive, according to the IRS, you can receive a certain amount as a gift from a friend, relative, whoever, spouse, every year without it being taxable. And the other thing I want to say, I don't know if I have any lenders on this scope right now, but I have had a couple lenders give my buyers some bad advice. It really made me mad. I've had lenders recently that told my buyers, your credit score just isn't high enough, but you need to just pay everything off. Yes, I can. I will give you a call tomorrow. But they told my buyers, your credit score isn't high enough, pay everything off. You guys, that is not a strategy to pay. Just tell somebody, oh, just pay everything off on your credit. That's not it's probably actually, if you go pay everything off, you guys see how excited I am about this. Like, if you go pay everything off on your credit, it's probably going to make your score drop. Yes, now they will want to know where that money came from. And every lender is going to be different as to how they want you to prove that. But to just go, yes, they want to know where that money came. They want to make sure that whoever has that money really gave it to you from a place where they could pull it from. So in other words, they didn't go get a loan, something crazy like that to give you that $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000, whatever it is that you got from them. So they will want to know that. But it's going to depend. It's going to generally change based on every lender. I'm all over 757. I don't know. Wells Fargo is the last one that I dealt with that was a gift, and I don't remember how many pay stubs they asked for. A year of statement. Yeah, I don't think it was a year of statements from Wells Fargo. But it could definitely be a year of statements from other banks. It just all depends on like I said, you guys. So your Quicken, every bank is going to have a different set of guidelines and requirements that they're going to ask you for when you're doing your loans. So if Quicken wants you to have a year's worth, I mean, if you're thinking about buying a house now and you may need a gift, that may be something that you want to work through before you kind of get into that loan process. Okay. Navy Federal. We'll talk about Navy. We'll talk about Navy Federal later. We'll talk about Navy Federal later. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, I hope that was just like a little, this much of what I really wanted to share with you. Absolutely, Lynn. Be proactive. Did FHA put down 3.5? It says that they can prove more people because they are the lenders, not the brokers. Quicken says they can approve more people. Well, look, okay. The last time I had somebody from Quicken Loans, I actually talked them out of using Quicken Loans. And I've not heard bad things about Quicken Loans, but I'm going to tell you what they did that really upset me. And I'm going to suggest this, you guys. When you're looking for a mortgage, you definitely need to shop around. You have 45 days. The last guidelines that I saw said you have 45 days to shop around. And they will only ding you once. So once they see that you're shopping for a mortgage, they're not going to ding your credit every time you go to another mortgage company. You need to shop around to see who's going to give you the best rate, who's going to give you the lowest points, who's going to get your closing costs the lowest, because all of that stuff is going to be different by bank. Quicken Loans, I had a buyer. His credit score was great, okay? He'd actually saved up a good amount of money. There's a helicopter flying over. I don't know why. He'd actually saved up a good chunk of money, and he was trying to figure out, we were trying to figure out his closing costs so we could put it in the contract. I know, Lynn. I know. That's where I'm going with this. So, you know, he talked to the guy Quicken Loans, and the guy was really nice. I talked to him too, you know, and he explained things, and he told him how he was going to help them, and, oh yeah, our closing costs are lower, and blah, 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 blah. But when it came, well, actually, when it came to the closing costs, when we got to it, it wasn't lower. It was too high. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me why it was too high. Okay. Trying to figure it out, because they told him they were giving him a loan with no mortgage insurance. So you guys know what mortgage insurance is, right? That's when the bank, if you don't put a lot of money down on your mortgage, the bank makes you pay mortgage insurance as part of your payment, which insures them, the bank, if you default. Doesn't insure you. So they were telling him he wasn't paying mortgage insurance. They told him he wasn't paying it at all because his credit score was high and he was putting down money. So I said, no, something isn't right. You need to talk to my lender. So he talked to her. They lied to you? Yeah. He talked to her. She looked through it, broke it down. They had him paying a lump sum of it up front. Hi from North Carolina. Hi. Had him paying a lump sum of it up front. His closing costs were ridiculous. We couldn't figure out what the problem was till she broke it, like went through the documents and broke it down. So I said, no. You need to switch because he's telling you something and it's not true. Plus, I always like to have local lenders because you get personal service. Okay, you can call them weekends, whenever. Very dishonest. You can call them on weekends. You get personal service with a local lender. 1-800. I don't. For me, as your realtor, and for you, it's just not the best service that you can get. It's not. Even USAA. People want to shoot me when I say that, but hey. Yeah, she needs 20% equity. Yep. And again, like my lender, she's going to sit down and explain some of those. And that's why it's good to be able to get face to face with somebody. They should be able, I'm not sure actually. That may be a different subject. Let's talk about that later. You back with this Navy Federal. Country 757, are you on Twitter? Can we talk later? I bank with Navy Federal, but let me tell you, every bank is not good with every type of loan. And Navy Federal isn't good with mortgages. Neither is USAA. Excuse me, my voice is going out, y'all. So that's why I want to talk later. Every bank isn't good with mortgages. I love USAA and Navy Federal for their bank accounts, their checking, their saving, their credit cards, their auto loans, but not for mortgages. I'm sorry. I know it's bad. And a lot of VA members or VA buyers want to shoot me, but it is what it is. I'm just telling you the truth. When you call First Advantage, First Advantage, Navy Federal, USAA on the weekends, when you need them, when you're out shopping for a house, you're not going to get anybody on the phone. Nobody. I am. So you guys, my voice is going out. I'm sorry. I am a realtor. My name is Rashida Clark. And I'm on the peninsula. I'm on the peninsula in Virginia. I know. I've been talking a lot today. That's right. Just because the bank offers it does not mean they're good at it. Huge. That's huge. Okay, so my voice is gone, so I'm going to close this out, but I will try to do a part 2 to this. I'll try to go ahead and advertise it and do a part 2 probably tomorrow when I have my voice back. So I'm so glad that you guys came in, that you tuned in. Please share this. Yes, learn something new every day, and I'll get with you on Twitter. Please share this with your peeps, and look out for you're welcome, and look out for the part 2, and I'll have some more information. So sorry about my voice, you guys, but I really appreciate the hearts and the comments. Okay, thank you. And I have some more information, so I will message Somi or you or email you. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Awesome. I know I got some new followers, so I'll check your profile out and follow you guys back. Cool. All right. Thank you, guys.